Hey guys, I am Ibigandscary. I'm bringing you another StarCraft 2 replay, this time featuring Aidanz in your bottom left corner playing the Protoss, and in your top right playing the Red Zerg we have AAKraigus. We are on Condemned Ridge, if I'm not mistaken. Everybody knows the ramp. It's medium. Everybody knows the natural. It's pretty easy to hold because of the single pathway into it and nice common ground in front of it. You get an overlord right here and you can see exactly what's going on in that common ground. It's difficult to wall off completely unless you do something funky with multiple buildings all the way down. The only thing I've seen capable of doing that are the Terran, just with their huge amount of supply depots, but it's pretty flimsy. Pathway leading down to the third, and we have a pylon going up for Aidanz in the natural. Sandwiched between the two Vespene geysers. It's not a cannon rush because it's difficult to do that with Zerg. You could see some cannons denying the natural completely, but then the Zerg would just grab a third down yonder. So this is probably a proxy gateway. Pretty ballsy proxy gateway too, just because of the it's pretty exposed. It's not really the first place you'd scout, though. Overlord is coming down from Craigus. He's going to see this in just a couple of seconds. Already the spawning pool is on the way. He's seen it now. Pulling back, but two gateways really, really close. This spawning pool is probably going to finish a little bit after the first gateway, but before the second, if I'm not mistaken. Nah, it looks like the gateways are going to finish first. But either way, the spawning pool is going to go up, and if Craigus keeps his head, he'll be able to get plenty of Zerglings out. I don't know about building the extractor. I would have delayed that. I would have kept all my drones on mining, but maybe he's not going to mine off of it. He's just going to waste the minerals and let it sit there. Looking over at the Aidanz main base, we can see he's cut a lot of probes, 11 to 15. But with Chrono Boost, he'll be able to keep that out. He is spending his Chrono Boost currently on the Zealots that are going to come out and do some significant harassment. Spawning pool is up, as well as a Spine Crawler on the way for Craigus. Good call on that one. Nice positioning for the probes for Aidanz, making sure that it's sandwiched between the buildings, not really vulnerable to any Zerglings that might be on their way down. But with 3 Zealots soon to be on the field, the spawning pool is really in trouble. The Zealot could be in trouble if he gets surrounded by the drones, but with another one coming in and him pulling off of the creep, he could have managed that successfully. The Spine Crawler is going to finish. I think this first guy is going to be within range, and with the Zerglings kiting back the Zealot into range, that Spine Crawler is going to finish him off. Zealots having to pull back for a more favorable attack. I think on this side they're going to be completely out of the Spine Crawler's range, but the Queen coming out is really going to help Craigus. Aidan's in trouble with the gateways scouted so early. He didn't have a chance to take Craigus by surprise. With the positioning of it, he was hoping Craigus would just see it once he came down here to grab his natural expand, which, depending on the build, could have been exactly at the same time that he was building that second gateway. One way or another, Craigus is in a lot better shape than he should be by all rights. However, the spawning pool and the Spine Crawler placement means that the spawning pool is very vulnerable to Zealots. It's surprising that the Spine Crawler can't touch that first Zealot, but with some repositioning on Aidan's part, the one Zealot does go down. The other Queen's going to go to work. It looks like the spawning pool is in really low health. 2 more Zealots are going to come up and join these two. And with that, I bet that spawning pool is going to go down, but unfortunately for Aidanz, the Roach Warren is already up. I would send maybe these 4 Zerglings off to do some damage to the mineral line of Aidanz. There is nothing back there, and he knows because he's got a drone there. Those 4 Zerglings really aren't going to do much against the Zealots, but they are going to do quite a bit against the probes. I guess Craigus needs all the help he can get to fend off these guys, but in all honesty, this spawning pool can go down, and who cares? He's got roaches. He's got roaches on the way. Let the spawning pool go down. With 2 Spine Crawlers in position, there's nothing those Zealots can do now anyway, and the economic damage is going to be quite enough. Roaches are beginning to pop. Once there's 4 roaches, I suspect Craigus is going to push down, take out that pylon, take out the gateways, and then choose either to come in and just finish off Aidanz entirely or grab a natural on his own mark. It looks like pylons are being built back at the main. Aidanz knows that this is going south pretty quickly. Still pushing with the zealots. I don't really encourage that with the 2 queens and spine crawlers there. These roaches, zealots are going to go down without anything. If he was targeting the single queen, he might have succeeded in getting them down, but as things stand now, he is significantly behind in the resources lost, in the income tab, and with units on the field. A single zealot's going to get taken down by these roaches, and they're going to go to work on the structures here. Aidanz is grabbing an expansion, hoping to get his harvester count back up and running, but at 10 to 17, and with Kraigus with a fully functioning base, and this one just in shambles. Yeah, that forge is going to go down. He's hopefully going to get a couple of photon cannons up before the slow and ponderous roaches get there, and it's a good choice by Kraigus not to waste time on these gateways, but to head off and do some aggression on the natural, which he doesn't know about yet, but he will shortly. Just judging on what's being built here, he knows that Aidanz is either walling off his ramp completely with photon cannons, which might be a wise idea, but with the Nexus going down, that's really the only way that Aidanz is going to be able to get back into this game, is by taking a very aggressive risk like this and going for the economic lead. Kraigus going for gas steel. It's not super necessary, but it's definitely a good way to prolong the life of the drone with the zealot on its way back. So he could probably safely assume that the zealot was going to go to work on that drone eventually. These roaches, seeing 2 photon cannons warping in, decide to pull back, take quite a bit of damage from the photon cannons, but with 2 more roaches on the way, it's going to be able to deal with that zealot nicely, and then push into the probe line. Another photon cannon coming down, but there's plenty of time for these roaches to go to work. He only has to take out 9 probes for the game to be completely over. Almost take down the photon cannon, but with the roaches, the harvesters pushing in, the roaches have to pull back just a little bit. In all honesty, he could straight up engage 1A everything here, just focus down the photon cannon, and every single one of those probes go down. I think that's the last one. It is, and there is no minerals for Aidanz to build anything, so yeah, that's already game over. He's just going to see how much damage this photon cannon does, and that'll be the end of it. With this base going down, those photon cannons won't be able to hit the roaches on the other side, so that was a good game. Kraigus got fortunate with the Overlord coming down just to scout out this area. I don't know if he was specifically looking for a proxy, or if he was going to take kind of a backwards path into the main and wind up with an Overlord here to avoid any stalker harassment or anything like that. One way or another, it was fortunate that he saw this. He obviously would have seen it once he grabbed a hatchery, but it looked like the hatchery was going to be delayed because the spawning pool was already down before he saw that stuff, I think. It was a good game, though. Kraigus is in platinum. Aidanz is in gold. And I am into casting. So if you guys have a comment for me, you could leave me a comment. If you have a game you want me to cast, you could message me with the game. Either way, I will see you guys later. I am Ibigandscary. Bye.